All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. So I want to introduce Jim McGinley. By his own admission, is one of the greatest players of TRS-80 action games today. For reasons he doesn't understand, his mad keyboard clacking skills are sharper than ever. Jim's only goal in life is to ensure these games aren't forgotten. So we're going to turn it over to Jim and wrap it out here, Jim.
Yeah, well, I was so happy to be here. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, I wasn't able to make yesterday, but I did get here this late last night and was here for the TRS-80 600 presentation, which was amazing. So really, where I'm coming from, in grade 6, I guess this is like 1980, my dad bought my brother and I a TRS-80 Model I cassette-based version, and my brother and I would pull up that white Radio Shack catalog and basically just buy games from it. Because I think for our allowance, every 3 months we could pool together to buy one game, and you'd go through, and that was our lives for a few years. So I got very good at TRS-80 games, and I still have the skills. So I was happy that, to see that this community, everything here is being preserved. I think that's excellent. And a few years back, I'm basically a hobbyist game programmer. And there's a conference, the Game Developers Conference, and I pitched them the idea, well, I can present about TRS-80 games because everyone's forgotten them, and they blow away Commodore 64, and they blow away NES games by design. So I did a presentation about it, and that's led me here to Tandy Assembly. So and it's just great to be here. So the one thing I should notice, I sometimes say TSR as opposed to TRS.
Many people do.
Yeah, and so if you hear that, I don't even hear myself saying it, but I guess I actually default to TSR most of the time, and that's because I was playing Dungeons & Dragons at exactly the same time as I was doing this. Okay, so the obstinate goal of this isn't so much to play every game, it's to kind of basically try to show the games at a high level. I didn't play many adventure games, so this is all going to be about the arcade games, and try to show it at the higher levels. Because the higher levels is where a lot of these games get interesting, and also to highlight some of the more obscure, just kind of fun stuff. Gotta have some surprises, because now that I've become known as a person that plays these games, a few people contacted me and said, hey, we've got some other games for you. So it's gonna be fun. So let's start off with, again, I've recorded myself playing a lot of these games, because what I found before is if I try to play them all, it really slows down things. So you'll have to trust me, this is the videos are of me. Oh, first of all, how many people have played TRS-80 games? How many people have played a lot of TRS-80 games? Okay. How many people would know Big Five? All right, fantastic. Adventure International? Okay, fantastic. We're not going to go through all of those because you'll be like, well, I already know this. So we're going to try to strike a balance. But I will start off with the first game I think I ever played, which is Supernova. Now, Supernova, it was supposed to default to full screen. Again, you can consider this an Asteroids ripoff, but there's two things worth noting. When you actually thrust in here, this totally beats Asteroids. Look at that thrust. If you were in Asteroids, you will drift forever. But here, it's like you're on the ground and you've got brakes. So it's actually much more fun, whether it was intentional or not. You see me thrusting like a madman? You can't do that in Asteroids. But the other thing that's great about this, the momentum of the bullets, and this is actually straight out of Asteroids, watch this. I'll actually get a bullet to stand still. Watch, you ready? This took a lot of skill when I was a kid. This is me about 4 years ago. There it is. So, what I used to like to do was you would actually set up a bullet still and then have an asteroid run into it. That was the apex of that game. Now, who here knows Meteor Mission 2? Who here knows Meteor Mission 1? Ta-da! All right, this is actually widely available, but Meteor Mission 2 is incredible. But Meteor Mission 1, I think, is the first game that Big Five ever released. It's not that great, but you can kind of see, like, did I not have it? I didn't bother recording it. Okay, get ready. I'm going to try to play it live. All right. I hadn't planned on this one playing live, but again, that's what we're here for, kind of the fun. Oh, now see, even my defaults, I had it all set up, it was perfect. Don't worry, I'm prepared for this. Okay.
All right, you got Outhouse house.
Got Outhouse. I'm ending with Outhouse.
Great.
Okay. All right. I will make it easy on me. So the idea is almost like you're Frogger. So what you're going to do is you and a friend are just trying to get to the top, dodging all these dots and get into that. So you can kind of see the beginnings, but what's impressive, oops, sorry, I've got two going on at the same time. What's impressive about this is that you can kind of see the first time ever, maybe not the greatest game you've ever seen, because all the other, oops, I'd like to end on a good note with this. Let me see if I can still do it.
Go.
There we go. And I bet you, if you're out there, you're like, you can probably play this better than me. This one, maybe.
There you go.
Okay, just got it. Oh. I'm hesitating too much. I'll give it one more. This is it, for all the money. All right.
It's hard to play the left side because you don't have much chance to see the pattern coming.
It's just hard. But now I want to go back to, though, Meter Mission 2. Now, Meter Mission 2 everybody's played, but what's interesting is good enough. Now, at this level, you'll notice that basically the speed of the asteroids, I can kind of like not have to really worry about the asteroids because I can outrun them. So it's really not much to it, and I'm playing this one. Where the game though really changes, let me go up to 40,000 points. I love the fact you have snapshots these days in emulators. So you'll notice 40,000. It's no big deal. A few more asteroids, but that's really nothing. Let's see, I can still coast. Maybe I got a little arrogant there. Let's see. There we go. So again, not too worried just yet. Maybe I was an idiot.
Okay, right now.
Anyways, you have to trust me that basically with a little practice you can still go. But where it really gets weird is watch the speed increase on the asteroids when you get to 50,000. Okay, so at this point, the asteroids now move the same speed as you. So if you don't plan it right, look at this, it's just like you don't have, like the jump in skill level here, let's see, is crazy. Well, I doubt I'm getting back up. Okay. Just see if I can, oh no, that's not fair. All right. Okay. Okay, well, you saw me land. That was my credentials. All right, so Meter Mission 1, you've seen it. Meter Mission 2, Galaxy Invasion. Everyone's a big fan?
Oh yeah.
Galaxy Invasion Plus?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, a slight sequel, slight upgrade, but what made Galaxy Invasion Plus better? There's one thing. Inverted. Have you seen it inverted? You've not lived till you've seen it inverted. All right, so here it goes. So I'll do the before and after. And I'm sure there's many people in the room who actually are, what do you call it? Much better at the hardware than I am. I've just strictly played the games, and I am impressed with everything next door. Okay, so this is regular Galaxy Invasion. I'm going with 26,000. Just have to kill one of these eyeballs quickly. Now you'll notice at this level, it's constantly screaming, kill the eyeballs before you get killed. What happens if I don't kill the eyeballs? Have you seen this? So watch this, the eyeballs are getting incredibly angry. And eventually, here comes the lightning. Now, but at 50,000, they flip the screen.
Oh my! Oh,
wait. Now, it shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it really does throw you off. Okay, get ready. What's interesting is it also makes the game slower, so I don't exactly know if they have like a post-processing effect or what have you. It's done afterwards. It's crazy. Now the best part about this game, and I would argue that you can't do on modern systems, it's so easy to line up shots because the graphics are so crude. Yeah, it's like, what is it? Pixels across is it 60 or something crazy?
128.
128.
Is this 128?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you think about it, trying to line up a shot at 128 is much easier than 1024. So in other words, it's like when I'm killing these columns, when I go back in time, I'm like, why am I so good at this game? And it's like, well, you're actually getting a bit of a handicap lining up those bullets. Like I can almost make every shot connect. No longer. Like I'm outclassed by modern players, but back in TRS-80 days, it's good. Okay, Galaxy Invasion, amazing. You ever heard of the game called The Wild West? So this is one of the more like, my brother and I are just going through the catalog and then we're like, oh, okay, this looks good. And we bought it almost, here's a question. What makes you buy a game? There's only one thing, I think, and that still holds true today.
The artwork.
The artwork. Or more importantly, be more focused, not the artwork of the cover, that's for like suckers. The actual in-game screenshots. Like, if you see a good screenshot even today, I think that's the most compelling reason. The game may stink, but to get you interested. So we bought this on the strength of the screenshot. And I would argue it delivered. So here we go. It's just incredibly hard to play. The Wild West. So first you won't be too impressed, but then get ready. So what's interesting is I'm in the middle there. You've got a rotating arm, so you use left and right to rotate the arm, up to like move in that rotation and down. It's really awkward, so it's not just cursor keys. And you can see I'm just shooting standard stuff. Notice the modifiable terrain, procedurally generated probably. You can destroy it. Deformable meshes. But this isn't why we bought the game yet. So I'm just gonna kill, I guess I'm the good cowboy, I'm going and fighting the bad guys. So third level, get ready. This is why you bought the, oh wait, no. You can see it's a bit of a war of attrition. You just let those guys get stuck and then you take them out. If they actually don't get stuck, you're dead. So the idea is to get them stuck in the terrain. This is actually much harder to do than it looks like, but get ready. I would argue this game's probably not worth getting, but for this. Look at that train. And you can stop it by landing on it. Then it's back to kind of being boring. But did you see that? If you saw that shot, would you not have bought this game? There we go. Okay. Who here is familiar with Paddle Pinball? One of the first games was like Dancing Demon.
Oh, I've had that, yeah.
Paddle Pinball, fantastic. What's interesting is no one's copied the idea. So it's a combination of breakout and pinball. But I'm here to focus on the physics. Because you're like, whoa, physics. I'm like, yeah, check this out. So it's pretty easy to get the idea. There we go, a little ball. That's the physics. And so the idea is you're just trying to bounce off things and get points. You can even edit the playfield a little bit. There's an editor included. Not to an insane degree. But watch this. Okay, I'm gonna get it to land right on my paddle and stay there. The degree of skill required.
Yeah, I think you can do that with Atari Pong too.
Get ready, here it goes. There's me. Wait, yes. There you go. Okay, we covered supernova momentum. All right. Best looking game on the TRS-80. What do you think? What would you?
Donkey Kong.
Oh, Donkey Kong's hard to top. The real Donkey Kong that never got released. That's. I'd argue there's one better.
Berserk.
Berserk?
Version.
Berserk is a great conversion.
Robot Attack.
Robot Attack is a great conversion, but I would say it's not the best graphics.
13 Ghosts?
13 Ghosts. So this one I think is hard to argue. So I have no idea how they actually pulled this off. I was in contact with the developer, Brian Eggers. Basically, it's interesting. He's on some of the forums today. And I think he's trying to port it over to the Android. But he wrote me, and this is like back in the presentation, he's like, oh, hey, thanks a lot for talking about 13 Ghosts. I'm like, oh, out of curiosity, like, what did you get up to after the big games? What do you call it? The game fallout in 1983, where all games died, that disaster. And it's interesting, everybody has gone on to just different things. So he built 13 Ghosts, which is, in my opinion, a masterpiece, and then never built another game, really. Which is crazy to me. So you know how you have, like, games now have generations now? Like, you're in the second generation of PlayStation 4 games. I would say this is the third generation of TRS-80 games. They've really begun to understand the hardware finally. So the idea is you just move around the targeter with arrow keys and you shoot the ghosts. However, if you miss a ghost, then you get hurt. So you have to shoot the ghosts before they go off screen. Some of them hang around for a while. But like, look at that scrolling background, like full screen scrolling of that with these kind of ghosts. I don't understand how they managed to get the frame rate they did. And then the art style, you notice the silhouette, they got black outlines. So who did the art for this is pretty crazy. And there are 13 style of ghosts. So like every ghost has its own pattern, and later on there's a ghost that's like almost the size of like 5 pixels. It's super hard to hit and you will die. But you're not here to see the low level play. You're here to see high level. And do I have, how far did I get here? Level 7, let's see. Level 5. Okay. I wanted to actually show so this is just kind of show how crazy it gets, the variety of ghosts now. Look for the little one. So if I get to 13 ghosts, I finish the level. I think that's how it works. I'm trying to remember. Well, I know I have to kill them before they go off screen. Yeah, fine. Doesn't it remember the ghost counter? I'm beginning to forget what it counts as. I wanted to show you the smallest ghost. So you'll have seen this thing that just drives you crazy. So far we're good. These are all kind of normal, hard to hit. That little guy, I think he's the terror. Yeah, there we go, he's gonna take me out. Now it's, sorry, when they go off screen it counts up. If it gets to 13, I die. So I'm about dead here. Lowered it down, spiders lower down the count. I'm killing them all before they're off screen because that little guy, I don't know if I get past this level, let's see. I hope I do. No. But again, 13 goes. Effortlessly doing that. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to play weird because, in tribute to, we have the developer here. It's interesting, in Big 5 games, weird is probably the game I'm worst at. I find it very hard, even relative to other Big 5 games. So again, I'm going to do it live. We'll see how I do. How much gameplay did you show yesterday?
Oh, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Okay.
A minute, something like that.
So again, the goal here was to show high-level play, but this is one of the few times I'll be letting you down a bit because you'll be like, whoa, I thought you said you were good. I was. Something about this game now. Okay.
Use the shields.
The hot tips.
Shields and the shift key. And it has reverse video too, actually.
It has what?
It has reverse video too.
How do you get it though?
It's something like R. If you look at the instruction screen, it will say.
But like, is it so? It's not automatic. I have to get it.
You have to turn it on. Yeah.
Okay. Put it under games new. There we go. So weird. I'm at 4,000 points. I'm not going to reverse it. Okay. Oh man. All right. Sorry, I can't use that one because it just comes out when I died. I didn't record that snapshot in time. I don't want to start from the very beginning. Give me a second. I have to go to my slightly broken version, which, again, apologies because it won't run at the speed that it should be, but it's good enough. There we go. 1 second. It's worth it. Trust me on this one. There we go. Okay.
All right. Good luck.
I'll take it. So what I'm doing is I'm always holding shift. That was sort of my conclusion.
Yep.
Now there's the slow ship. You can see how slow everything's getting. It's because of this guy up top.
Oh, that's a bug.
And the more I kill, well, I think it's a bug in the emulator as opposed to certainly a bug in the code.
Yeah, because I've never seen that.
Anyways, the good news is those ships don't come out too often. But I like it because it's one of the reasons I'm able to survive. Get ready when it goes off screen. There we go.
Yeah, these have a glitch in them too. The flying saucer.
So do I have the wrong version?
I don't know. It looks like a corruption of some sort.
Okay. The good news is it's still lethally hard. Okay. So I thought this was actually, until today, I thought this was sort of like you being nice.
No,
Like,
I'm not nice.
okay, I'm just go one round more here. My goal was to break that 26,000 at the bottom. And if I see the high score list, at least with this particular version, I think it's Jeff. So I'm assuming that's Jeff from Big Five got the high score.
Yeah.
Any comments while we're playing? Anything to add?
It's really glitchy. This is not really the game.
It's not really a good representation?
Yeah.
I feel bad then. All right.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is why we need the preservation.
Yeah.
See what I'm up against? All right. In case you're wondering, so my background is, after having all these cassettes, I think my brother and I managed to get about 40 games over about 4 years or so. When I went off to university and stuff, my parents, of course, just inherited everything. And they're like, oh, after about 5 years, like, well, what are you going to do with this? So, of course, I have a student apartment and stuff, and I'm like, not really a lot of room. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, just throw it out. And then about 5 years after that, I'm like, oh, actually, I wanted those.
Yeah.
So, again, I myself, the good news is I find the emulators are pretty good at, like, being what I expect. But again, you run into things like this, where I actually own the cassette version of Weird, but it's kind of hard to remember, is this exactly the same or not? So again, very glad to be next door going, oh, wow.
Thank you for paying for a copy.
Yeah, I did. Well, what's interesting, even at that time, this is, again, so you'll be talking like, so grade 6 or 7, I didn't know that cassettes the cassettes were just cassettes. Like, I saw them as computer cassettes. So the idea of being able to pirate, I don't think I learned about that till like 6, 7 years later when, there was something else that was cassette based. And someone's like, you can just copy that. Like, what do you mean copy it? Like, just like you record music, just make a copy. And it's like, oh, no, like you would basically be like, the idea was just foreign. And so piracy is a learned idea. As a kid, I was like, yeah, you save up. And I live in Canada, in Sarnia, which is just near Port Huron, so where Michigan connects. And what they did in customs, they didn't understand computer games, because this is just so early on. So when the cassette came across, the game would be about $15, but then they had this concept of duty. So forget taxes, just duty. And I don't know if duty is our version of tariffs. I don't fully understand what it is. But whenever you buy something from the States, you're kind of worried about this. It's almost an arbitrary assessment. Like, A, will they pull your thing aside? B, are they going to charge you duty? And C, what amount? So usually on a $15 cassette, it's like $5 of duty, sometimes $15. And you're like, there's no one to talk to. You just get the bill. So like actually being able to like get games from the States is at that time was actually hard. So what we used to do was drive down to Detroit. They had CompuShack in Detroit, and like these, I think it was like two teenagers working out of their house. We drove up to their house, bought some games. It's one of the highlights of my life. CompuShack. Familiar with CompuShack? Ooh, these guys are, they kind of made the same game, but kept refining it and refining it. So again, it started off pretty good, and they just kept going. So the game I'm going to show, do you know Bosconian from the arcade?
Yes.
So you had these bases, and the idea was your ship goes, just takes out the edges of the base, and then after taking out the six edges, then the base blows up. Now, I would argue the TRS-80 version is better. Check this out. You'll be like, yeah, I could totally see it. Maybe not graphically, but Jovian is the name. Okay, that's my ship. Gigantic. There's the base. So I'm trying to get all the pods of these bases. So there's 6 bases, each with all the pods. The good news is the flickering here is the authentic flickering you would have gotten. It's not the video that's the problem, this is how it played. You can stop. What I try to argue is it makes it better than Bosconian, because Bosconian you couldn't stop. And you notice you're always firing 2 shots. So if you line up your shots, notice how I got 2 shots to take out 2 pots? That's the funnest part about the game, because if you line up those shots properly, you're taking them out twice the speed. So I've got this one's dead. These are the ones that are left, my long range map. I'm trying to line up the shot. Hopefully I do better next time. There's the 2. See that? That's awesome. These are mines. When you hit the mines, they explode out, but those explosions can take out other guys.
Or yourself.
Wow. Okay. Let's let this finish. In the real game, it had voices going, battle station, and then these swarms around. One more pause breath. I stop. If I stop, yep, break. Ta-da. I think there might be something to see at the higher level there. Let's just, let's go up to level 8. That was level 5. I don't know how well I did up here. Look at that pattern. This is awesome. It's just so dense. I'd probably go to the middle and just stop. I'm surprised I'm moving here, but okay. Break. I'm gonna break it. I was getting cocky, I think. There we go. So I would argue that that rigidness of the TSR-80 graphics, you know, lends itself. Like if this were like, if I had to line these things up perfectly, again at a higher resolution, I don't think it'd be as fun as like you can tell when you're lined up. We'll just kind of fast forward here. Again, I think this is CompuShack, if I've got the names right. I think I do it. Again, this would be like many years of practice as a kid and then having the snapshot ability to keep the lives going. So to get up to these levels now, I'm kind of cheating, you know? It's like, I'll play, and if I die, I'll just go back to the previous snapshot just to get those lives moving forward. Yeah, as a child, I think you're talking level 4 would have been the best. So thank goodness for the emulator technology. All right, how are we doing for time? What time is it? Halfway through, cool, all right. At quarter 2, I have to stop because that's when I'm going to try to play Outhouse at the highest level. That's the goal. In the meantime, does anyone have a request? A game they'd like to see that they remember they haven't seen in a while? If it's an action game, I probably have it. Assault. Assault? From CompuShack? Yeah, I got it. I think it's the same guys that just made Jovian. Get ready, you'll notice the similarity. So basically, you're in a cave system. You might recognize the ship. So this is not Jovian. And the idea is you're going through the cave. You're looking for the gold stock, those little canisters. But the cool thing is the spider that comes after you. The spider is lethal, a little bit of AI. Those are generic bad guys, but I would argue this is kind of building up to where they arrive with Jovian. I just want to see the spider. There's my gold stock. Do you see the spider? Yeah, where is it? There's my map, just like the Jovian map. I'm too good to die. Let's see. There he is. Fast forward a bit. Unfortunately, I've forgotten what I was. So I think the spider was trying to steal my gold while I mine for other things. So basically, I've forgotten the win condition. So my role here is kind of not good when I can't explain what I did. But that one I'm gonna.
You got Robot Attack?
I have Robot Attack. You gotta have Robot Attack.
That's the only game I ever had.
Do I not have a recording of Robot Attack? That's weird. Gotta go live. So Robot Attack, Big 5 software. The biggest thing that was known for is probably the first game to feature voices. And it was a homage to a game called Berserk in the arcade. I've got it, okay, I'm not going to start here because I don't think I can handle that right now, but let me just start off with a simple one. Oh wait, I don't want to wait for all that. Great intro, but a little bit long-winded. Let's go start 2005. Now the neat thing about Robot Attack and Berserk is the fact your arm plays a big role. So what you can do is just kind of look out for where your arm is at all times. In the original game, if you took too long, a boss came after you, invincible, called Evil Otto, a bouncing happy face. But because this is Big 5, they don't do Evil Otto. What do? The eye. Remember the eye that killed me in Galaxy Invasion? Here it comes. And you're like, no. And it's kind of cool. That Big 5 is one of the few that actually had like a mascot. Oh. I was amateurish. I feel quite embarrassed. I'm just going to beat this level. Just 1 second. The nice thing is that they kept the idea that the robots can like kill each other.
Yeah,
so you can use that.
Each other or shoot each other.
So here goes. I'm now going to go from 4,500. How far did I get with snapshots? But now 9,500. So let's just see where that's at. You notice I'm moving a lot faster. There we go. See how good I am?
Wait a little while. Right.
The nice thing is you can leave without actually having to address that guy. Oh.
I don't think you could have moved.
Watch this. Oh, sorry, I lost focus. I want the bonus. I don't want to leave the room, you know? No! Oh, I got greedy. Like, just one more try. See if I can clear the room. So I will say as a kid, this is probably as far as I would have gotten. It's only because of the emulator I can keep coming back, you know? Alright, that was poor planning.
I like the original game, arcade game, because when it wasn't doing anything else, it would occasionally say "coin detected in pocket" or something like that.
What did it say that?
To prompt you to stick more money in. It was part of its idle time thing, and I don't know. I can't remember if the Radio Shack version of the game did that or not.
I don't know if it did, but it did do. I think it did do. It had an attract mode, because Big 5 games always had something. For like 10 points, what was the sequel to Berserk? Frenzy. What set Frenzy apart? What made it awesome? Two things. You could on some of the walls, you could rebound your shots, and then they also had robot generators. So what you would do is you would rebound your shot into the robot generator. Right? It never really took off. No one remembers Frenzy. And I would argue that Berserk and Frenzy led to what game? Best game of all time? Robotron. Which issued in the twin stick era. All right, forgotten game, Eric's. This is a neat game. So what you're trying to do, that's me, you're trying to fill the area about 60%. So as you move, it's like a light cycle. So you can't block yourself in. So like this level, there's nothing to it, but just keep watching. Think about how to fill this without blocking yourself in. I would argue the enemies are the weakest part about this game. They should just take them out. but you're just like, how can I fill this without blocking myself in? And you begin to start seeing patterns. I forget why I'm allowed to kill enemies. The point is, look at how this works. If you went about this any other way, you wouldn't have been able to clear the area. I'll show the next level, it's the same thing. You'll look at it like, wait a minute, how would I fill that? You see? You kind of see how you have to go in and out of those without getting trapped. So the only weakness of the game is that you're not allowed to stay thinking. Like, it's all about time-based. But I would argue you have like a game design element here that's genius.
A little bit like there's another arcade game where you played against somebody else, and every time you moved, you get a little bit longer and longer and longer, and then eventually you try to block him off while he tried to block you off.
Snake? They have
Snake.
But you're talking about the two-player version. The one in the TRS-80 is called Barricade. But yeah, it's just more about like.
And that was the sort of thing too. You had to figure out, plan where you can be while you're killing time. And
and you can see if I took too long, it has waves coming after you. So. No. Anyways, a great little game, and that's one of those ones where I actually didn't own it at the time. It was when I was putting together the presentation. I'm like, hey, what is everyone's favorite TRS-80 game? And they're like, oh, Eric's by far. I'm like, never heard of this. It probably stinks if you haven't played it as a kid. But it actually, like, I started playing, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
What about Bounceoids?
Do you like Bounceoids?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna play it. All right. So Bounceoids is like a combination of takes kind of asteroids and mixes it with I don't know. It's almost it's a variation of asteroids. You'll see what I mean here. I just find it very hard. That's the only knock I would have against it. I'm no good at it. This is level 6, or I get to level 6. So. Again, I imagine on the machines next door, this probably doesn't have as much flickering. The emulator, this is what I'm used to playing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it up to really show. Let's go for a... Do you remember how far I used to get in Bounceoids? I will say I'm not using any cheats to actually play the games, but I am. If I die, I will go back and like play and get next level and save that snapshot.
You have some kind of a shield there or something?
There is a shield.
Okay.
Oh, those 4 things on the sides, they'll shoot in. They're really make the game hard. Like, do you see these guys? This is absurd. If the game's hard enough, but these guys, the worst. Let's see, do I have one more life? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna roll back so you can see what you're up against. I forgot about that. That's actually, it's kind of genius. Just, okay. So look how much you have to deal with. Okay, these 4 things up here. Come out. So I'm trying to desperately take them out before they shoot. Oh. I guess we're not going to see them shoot because I'm dealing with so much other stuff. Okay. So now, I am going to show you, as far as I know, a never released game. And this is interesting. So, someone emailed me about 2 days before Tandy Assembly saying, oh, hey Jim, I noticed you're going to be speaking about games. I made this game in 1993, but I was in Germany and there was no way to release it. It was also, I can't play it anymore. I don't have the skills. So I did my best to play the game, but it's pretty clever. So as far as I know, this is a world premiere. We're about to play Obstacle Run, an inspired name. A little bit of a Big 5 transition. No sound, unfortunately.
I know that name.
Yeah, that game would
Wait, do people have seen this game before? All right.
Right
Oh. So you can shoot by holding right and left at the same time. So you move and shoot by you put 2 bullets out like this, or hit spacebar to fire up. So this is kind of what I pointed out in my original presentation. It's a bit of a ballet. You move at the same speed, like you go up and down at the same speed as the scrolling. So you can line yourself up with a horizontal tunnel by going down with it while going across. I have a better game. That was not good. Keep going. Keep going, Jim. That was not very... Let's get past that. Okay, good. So you'll notice I'm moving down at the same time so I can get across. Just narrowly avoiding it. Hold down, very important. So you're always trying to go up to get more space that'll let you move left and right more. And I've forgotten that you can hold spacebar here, so I'm trying to do the left-right shots. Doing it hard way. I've never seen a game that forces you to shoot by, like, if you're moving right, just tap left and you get both those shots. Do I know to hit spacebar? I figured it out, great. And then this is so hard. I'm like, no. I did it. Oh, no space. If I just been further up on the screen, I could have made that. Unfortunately, I tried to play a couple more rounds. I can't get back there. That was the best I could do.
Wow.
Anyways, again, it's a bit of a shame that that game, got that far. And what do you call it? I've never, literally never heard about it until 2 days ago. All right, Donut Factory.
You wrote that? Yes. It's actually 83, not 93.
So here's the author.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to be here. You should have mentioned it in the email. I would have pointed you out. Well, it's fantastic. So how far can you get?
Well, I don't know if I can play it myself. It's actually quite tricky because of the diagonal. And I'm very impressed. Did you play that on the emulator?
Yes.
So if you go diagonal, the old TRS-80 keyboard had the split control. So up and down were on the left side, and right and left were on the right.
The trick is you just use one hand. If you try to use 2 hands to pull that off, you get confused. So you got to train yourself on one hand, and then you can pull it off.
So I can tell you there are 3 levels in total. You just got almost the first one. The second one is a bit like Sea Dragon, where you fly like horizontally.
That's amazing.
The third one is like some robots you have to destroy a shield.
So just some more background then. So you made this, and it's assembly language, I assume, given the quality. And then you had no outlet you couldn't do anything with it?
Wow.
Well, today we've solved that.
It's on the retro store.
So another kind of lost classic. Who's familiar with Donut Factory? So basically, this if you look up Donut Factory, you can find it in his name. This is an Australian developer, I believe. And what's happened is he actually documents what he went through. So he basically built Donut Factory, but he caught it on the cusp of just when TRS-80 was dying. So I would argue this is better than Donkey Kong. In other words, it's like an original spin on it, but graphically and maybe even gameplay-wise, it offered 10 levels versus Donkey Kong's 3. Anyways, I'm not the greatest at it, but let's go take a look. We got 3 levels worth. Like, for a game, I think he pointed out was something like he sold 50 copies. So here's the idea. You have to get you have to kill all those donuts. So I'm gonna shoot. Notice they're afraid of me, so it's kind of sad. So I picked up my dough. I've got my full dough throws, but you only have enough dough to kill those donuts. If I miss once, the level's pretty well over. So I'm waiting for it not to be scared. And I shoot. If you miss a jump, you die too, so you gotta be careful. Collecting the 100. So if you notice, music is playing while the game's going, and that's actually a bit of a trick, I think, for any of the programmers here, because that's a hard thing to do without impacting the game. Notice the animations, so it's all hand drawn by the developer. At the very end, you see this? This is an elevator, which is going to push up. But if you're not on an elevator properly, and you're a little bit off, you'll fall off of it. Or it'll push your head and you'll die. So watch what happens to me. I'm like proud of myself. Those jumps are lethal, by the way. If you're a pixel off, you'll die. So I get 200. And I've forgotten what to do here. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Oh, right, get on the platform. You ready? It started to go up just as I got there. But here, let's go for a successful version. Okay, wait. I want to show you the elevator. Watch me take it. Ready? Okay, I get back in time. Now I'm afraid. Okay, get back there. Look at that. Now, you can see that they've got new elements, and for a TRS-80 game to actually introduce new elements on a level is pretty impressive. So I have to jump those laser beams, which is really hard. But I'm that good. I die the first time I try to do this next laser, but it's worth seeing. So I time it, I wait for it to get past it, and then I go up, but I forget that you have to jump twice. I thought I could jump one and make the ladder. There it goes. I jump one, get cocky, try to make the ladder, with no time. So the next time through, I'm like, I'm gonna make that mistake again. That's classic. So now I've learned, you gotta jump 2 before trying for the ladder. This is one of my proudest gaming moments. Jump twice, don't get greedy. Then take the ladder. The scared donuts are really not the problem. But again, to have a game like this that no one's ever heard of, it's similar to Obstacle Course, right? It's like to have these games is So this is insanely scary to me. I believe they're random. Like I sat here for a while going, well, there must be a pattern because that'd be really unfair. I don't think there's a pattern. Anyways, the first time I think I died, because I thought too much about it. Oh, I think my daughter had a question here, so I had to pause.
What are you doing there?
All right, there we go. So I jump and I start thinking too much. Right, going back, that was a classic mistake. So next time around, I'm just gonna go right. Like, not even think about it, just go for it. Let's see here. And what's interesting is, this plan worked. Don't think, just hope. Ta-da! So of course, I immediately save that snapshot at some point, because I'm never doing that again. That's never gonna happen. But where it gets interesting is like killing the donuts, again, not hard, but look what happens to me. I'm so happy. Oops, okay. Look at this. So this is as far as I've ever gotten in the game. I'm really happy for the presentation because I was just recording this last week. I'm like, okay, great. I'm gonna get to level 4. I've never seen level 4. And now you're gonna see as much as I see. You ready? Level 4. Here we go.
You gotta push and move.
Yeah, but like, you're taking in the whole screen and you're like, what, how did I die? I didn't even move. So imagine you didn't have an emulator and like you're a kid that's managed to get that far past that lava and you're just come out and you're like, you have a second to know there's a laser at the top of the screen that will kill you if you don't move. And apparently there's 6 more levels, which maybe I'll eventually pull off, but there you go. Okay, so 149, all right, here we go. So one of the my favorite games, I think a lot of people's favorite games, action-wise at least, is Outhouse.
Yay!
Now Outhouse, I'm gonna actually play it. I'm gonna play it at a lower level and then go to a higher level. It's almost like a variation of Robotron, while it doesn't look like it. That's probably the best way to describe it. And anyways, it's easy enough to explain. And the theme, it has one of the best themes of any game. I'm going to start off at the easier level, level 6. Okay. So what happens, I'm this little eyeball. You might recognize him from Big 5 Software. But now he's
Now he's a good guy.
For good.
Notice those guys stealing my toilet paper? Stop that. There's two types of guys. See that guy with the hole inside? He's a squatter. He doesn't take toilet paper, he uses it. So it's very important that if you see a squatter coming, you must kill them before the end of the outhouse. Okay. So I think everyone kind of get what's going on here. Oh, and so you die in two ways. You run out of men or your outhouse runs out of toilet paper. So here we go. I love this part. Okay. This is kind of the big reward, lining yourself up like this. Okay. That's level 6. I'm just gonna do this one more time. You have a smart bomb as well when things get hectic. So I've got a few. I'm gonna use a smart bomb. Here we go, it's just for fun. Oh, there's a squatter, got rid of him. Not a lot to harm you. Those guys on the right, those little lasers, they will kill you pretty quick. Oh, there's a squatter. Look, the number goes down. Oh, that squatter. What's interesting, let the squatter leave, even though at that point he's kind of harmless. So I would argue that your strategy in the beginning is just kill everything that's around you. Don't worry about the people down below unless they're squatters. Right now, none of this matters, but you're gonna see when I up the level. Okay, so here's the question. Can I live beat? Well, that's anticlimactic. My plan is to beat the highest level I've gotten to. You'll see it's a lot faster. So I made it to level 18. Okay, so here goes. My plan is to beat level 18. So again, strategy. Remove everything around you, ignore the guy stealing toilet paper. But if there's a squatter, I have so little toilet paper in my outhouse that squatters are basically gonna end my game. So you can see what I'm up against. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to finish the level. If they're not squatters, I don't want to kill them because I don't want to encourage squatters. Smart bomb, very important. The guys on the right, just lethal. Now I've kind of at least gotten past this part, the hard part. Those arrows, if they touch your outhouse, it's over. The trick is not to get distracted by the arrows. No. You know, I made it past the hard part, but then, all right, try one more time. Okay.
So back in the day, did you use a joystick for this?
No, always keyboard. I don't think I knew there was a joystick until like modern days. Oh, I didn't even see the arrows. Okay, wait. That was no good. All right, one more time. Squatters, the worst. Smart bomb it. Potentially you can still die while smart bomb's going off, so you gotta be careful. Okay. What I will say though is, this game's really fun even when you're dying. That's the, okay. So convinced I can do it. So remember, don't worry about anyone if they're not. Died while my smart bomb was going off. All right. I think I can handle one squatter. I'll let that squatter go. Arrow. Ooh. Oh, lost my focus with my mouse. That was not a fair death. Okay, one more attack. One more attack. All right, convinced. It's gonna be a little more dramatic than I expected. So I'm hoping to get down to that end game where I'm just worried about the guys. And take the, oh! If you will humor me one more time. I want to end on a good note. Not that, that's depressing.
That's the mark of the greatest player. He never quits. Not that he always succeeds.
It's actually hard to see the arrows when all that's going on. Okay, my mistake was not going to the smart bomb. Smart bomb it early. There we go.
2 more arrows.
2 more arrows, right. Smart bomb. 2 smart bombs, that's good. Just gotta get rid of these arrows so I can focus on these guys. Okay, now I'm back in a... Good. Alright. Well, I had to use 2 smart bombs, which is a bit of a cheat, but I'll take it. Let's see how far I get to the next level. I don't think I'll get very far. Although I do still have 2 smart bombs. This might be it. If I get past this level, this is the highest I've ever done. Alright. Ooh. Now I've psyched myself out. Smart bomb early. Free man. Or a free smart bomb, one of the two. 2 smart bombs. I used them both. Now I'm dead. I got 1 left? Okay, just gotta worry with the arrows. Okay, I think I lined myself up perfectly for everything. Squatter, ruin all the plans. That's great when that part happens here. Okay. I think we're gonna make history here. Tandy Assembly. No, I can't. It's only for here. But without 2 smart bombs. Smart bomb. Oh! All right. And that ends the presentation. Thank you so much for Oh, hi, sweetheart. Hi. Wait, do you like...